Everyone teaches you manifestation forward. Visualize, attract, and achieve. Quantum manifestation flips that completely upside down. You don't manifest from desire. You manifest from outcome. Here's how to do it backwards and watch miracles unfold. You've probably been told countless times to clearly visualize your goals, see every detail. Feel the emotions as if you already have it. You've heard this advice from countless coaches, teachers, and books. Maybe you've spent hours each day imagining your dream life, picturing your dream job, your ideal partner, financial abundance, or vibrant health. You've likely closed your eyes, repeated affirmations, and tried your hardest to maintain positive feelings. And yet, something still feels off. It seems just out of reach, like you're constantly grasping at shadows. Why? Here's the uncomfortable truth most manifestation teachings overlook. When you visualize something as a future goal, you reinforce the gap between yourself and what you desire. Think about that for a second. Every time you try harder to feel abundant or loved or successful, if deep down you still perceive it as something in the future, you're energetically broadcasting the exact opposite of what you want. You are inadvertently reinforcing your lack. And the quantum field, being a mirror of your dominant frequency, reflects back exactly that. More distance, more waiting, more frustration. This is the fundamental mistake that keeps millions of people stuck in endless cycles of hoping, wishing, and waiting. Traditional manifestation methods teach you to reach toward your desires from a place of not having them. This creates what quantum physicists call a frequency mismatch. Your conscious mind says one thing while your energetic signature broadcasts another. The universe doesn't respond to your words or even your visualizations. It responds to your vibrational frequency, your dominant state of being. When you're trying to manifest from desire, you're operating from the frequency of lack, no matter how positive your thoughts might be. This is where quantum manifestation turns the whole process upside down and why it's infinitely more powerful. Quantum manifestation doesn't ask you to pretend something is already true in some vague future. Instead, it starts by placing you directly inside the outcome, right here and now. It asks you to shift your state from wanting to already having, to think, feel, and act from the outcome rather than toward it. And here's the crucial distinction. It's not about imagining a future result. It's about experiencing the end state now. The quantum field operates like a sophisticated mirror system. It doesn't judge your desires as good or bad. It simply reflects back the frequency you're consistently broadcasting. If you're broadcasting the frequency of someone who wants something, you get more wanting. If you're broadcasting the frequency of someone who already has something, you get more having. This isn't mystical thinking. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness and manifestation. Your thoughts create measurable electromagnetic fields that interact with the quantum field around you. These fields carry information about your state of being, your beliefs, and your expectations. The universe reads this information and responds accordingly. When you understand this, you realize that manifestation isn't about convincing the universe to give you something. It's about aligning your frequency with what you desire so completely that the universe has no choice but to reflect that reality back to you. Quantum manifestation doesn't operate linearly. It operates backward from the end to the beginning. To make this clearer, let's use an analogy. Imagine you're watching a movie, but instead of watching it from start to finish, you begin at the final scene. You see the resolution, the happiness, the clarity. With that knowledge of the outcome, every event leading up to it takes on a different meaning. You don't doubt how things will resolve. You don't question whether the hero will succeed. You already know the ending. Quantum manifestation works exactly the same way. When you start from the outcome, you experience a profound shift in your energetic frequency. Anxiety and urgency dissolve, doubt fades. Why? Because there's no longer a question of whether something will happen. You're experiencing it as already done. This backward approach changes everything about how you move through your day. Instead of wondering if your business will succeed, you think from the perspective of someone whose business is already thriving. Instead of hoping to find love, you embody the frequency of someone who is deeply loved and cherished. Instead of trying to attract money, You operate from the abundance consciousness of someone who is more than enough. This isn't positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is quantum thinking. Quantum physics backs this up. Experiments like the double-slit experiment and studies on retrocausality show us clearly that, at the quantum level, past, present, and future are not separate. They coexist as possibilities, and your observation, your state of being, collapses these possibilities into your experienced reality. When you embody the outcome, you're not just hoping for a future result. You're actively collapsing the quantum wave function in favor of your desired reality. You're becoming the observer who determines which possibility becomes actual. This is why people who naturally manifest easily seem to do so effortlessly. They're not trying to get something. They're being someone who already has it. They've learned to live from the outcome rather than toward it. And this makes all the difference in the world. The quantum field is not empty space, waiting for your thoughts to fill it. It's a vast ocean of infinite possibilities where every potential version of your life already exists in complete form. Think of it as the ultimate cosmic library, containing every story that could ever be written about your existence. In this library, there's a version of you who has already achieved everything you desire. There's a timeline where your dream relationship is thriving, where your ideal career is flourishing, where your perfect health is your natural state. These aren't fantasies or potential futures you need to create. They're existing realities waiting for your conscious selection. This understanding completely transforms how manifestation works. You're not building something from scratch or convincing the universe to give you what you want. You're simply tuning into the frequency of the reality that already contains your desired outcome. Quantum physics has proven something remarkable through experiments like the double-slit test. The act of observation literally determines which possibility becomes actual reality. Before observation, particles exist in what scientists call superposition, meaning they exist in all possible states simultaneously. The moment consciousness observes them, they collapse into one specific state. Your life operates on this exact same principle. Every moment, you're collapsing infinite possibilities into singular experiences. Through your conscious observation and emotional state, when you observe your life from a state of lack, you collapse possibilities that confirm lack. When you observe from abundance, you collapse possibilities that confirm abundance. This isn't metaphysical theory, it's measurable quantum mechanics applied to personal reality creation. Your consciousness isn't separate from the field of possibilities. You are the field experiencing itself subjectively. This means you're not trying to influence reality from the outside. You are reality, choosing which version of itself to experience. Traditional manifestation teaches forward manifestation. You identify what you want, set goals, take action steps, and hope the universe delivers. This approach assumes you're starting from lack and moving toward fulfillment. Quantum manifestation works in reverse. It starts from the assumption that your desired outcome already exists, and you're simply aligning with that timeline. Instead of asking how you can get what you want, you ask how you can become who you already are in the reality where you have it. This creates what I call energetic coherence. When you operate from having rather than wanting, your entire nervous system relaxes into a state of completion. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions naturally align with your desired outcome, because you're not fighting against current circumstances. You're embodying the energy signature of your fulfilled desire. The quantum field responds to this coherence by magnetizing experiences that match your internal state. You become a gravitational center for your desired reality, rather than someone chasing after it. Have you noticed that people who manifest easily rarely seem stressed about their desires? They have a calm confidence, an unshakable knowing that what they want is already theirs. This isn't positive thinking or blind faith. It's the natural result of operating from quantum coherence. When you truly embody the feeling of already having what you desire, several things happen simultaneously. Your stress hormones decrease because you're not in survival mode, trying to get something you lack. Your brainwaves shift into more coherent patterns that enhance creativity and intuition. Your heart rhythm becomes more coherent, which research shows dramatically improves your ability to influence your environment. Most importantly, you stop broadcasting the frequency of wanting and start broadcasting the frequency of having. The quantum field mirrors whatever frequency you consistently emit. When you emit lack, you receive experiences that confirm lack. When you emit abundance, you receive experiences that confirm abundance. This is why forcing and efforting actually work against manifestation. Force implies doubt, and doubt creates resistance in the field. Effort suggests you don't already have what you want, which keeps you in the vibration of not having it. True manifestation happens through alignment, not action, through being, not doing, through embodiment, not achievement. The most profound shift in quantum manifestation is moving from trying to get something to becoming someone. Instead of asking what you need to do to manifest your desire, ask who you need to be. In the reality where you already have what you want, what kind of person are you? How do you think, feel, and move through the world? What beliefs do you hold about yourself and life? What does your daily experience feel like when you're living from that fulfilled state? These aren't questions to answer intellectually. They're invitations to step into that version of yourself right now. The moment you embody the identity of someone who already has what you desire, you collapse the wave function in favor of that reality. You're no longer hoping it will happen someday. You're living it today, and the external world has no choice but to reflect your internal state. This is the secret that effortless manifestors understand intuitively. They don't wait for proof to feel fulfilled. They feel fulfilled first, and proof inevitably follows. They don't act from the energy of trying to become someone. They act from the energy of already being that someone. This creates a magnetic field around them that naturally attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that match their embodied state. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words, your actions, or even your visualizations. It responds to your state of being, your energetic signature, your vibrational frequency, and the fastest way to shift that frequency is to stop wanting what you desire and start being who you are when you have it. This is why quantum manifestation feels effortless once you understand it. You're not pushing against reality. You're allowing reality to reorganize itself around your new state of being. You're not trying to convince the universe to give you something. You're simply selecting which version of yourself you want to experience. And in that selection, in that conscious choice to embody your desired outcome, everything changes. The moment you truly understand how the quantum field operates, everything about manifestation shifts from struggle to flow. Most people spend their entire lives unknowingly sabotaging their own desires through the very language they use to express them. They affirm things like, "I want abundance," "I want success," "I want the perfect relationship." Sounds innocent enough, right? But let's take a closer look at the hidden message this sends to the quantum field. Each time you say, "I want," you unconsciously affirm a reality in which the thing you desire is missing. You're broadcasting lack. You're energetically confirming to the universe again and again, "I don't have it yet." But here's the beautiful paradox that quantum manifestation reveals. The universe is not responding to what you want. It's responding to what you are. If your dominant emotional state is wanting, the quantum field has no choice but to mirror that exact state back to you. It matches your vibration with impeccable accuracy. So, if you constantly signal wanting, the universe confirms this state by providing you more situations where you're left wanting, where fulfillment remains just out of reach. Think of the quantum field as the most sophisticated mirror ever created. It doesn't judge thoughts or evaluate whether your desires are worthy. It simply reflects back whatever frequency you're consistently broadcasting. When you operate from a state of lack, worry, or desperation, the field mirrors those exact conditions in your external reality. This isn't punishment or cosmic injustice. It's the precise, mathematical response of a universe that operates on the principle of energetic resonance. Every emotion you feel, every thought you think, every belief you hold creates a specific electromagnetic signature. The quantum field reads this signature like a radio receiver, picking up a transmission. Whatever frequency you're broadcasting most consistently becomes the reality you experience. This is why people often find themselves trapped in cycles of the same experiences, wondering why their circumstances never seem to change despite their best efforts. They're unconsciously maintaining the same internal frequency, while expecting different external results. Now, consider the opposite approach. Imagine shifting your focus entirely from what you lack to what already exists in the quantum field. Because here's the profound truth science now fully supports. Every reality, every outcome, every dream you could possibly imagine is already encoded as a potential within the quantum field. You're not inventing or creating it from scratch. You're simply aligning with a reality that already exists as a possibility. Let's visualize this with a simple yet profound metaphor. Think of the quantum field as an enormous cosmic library. Every single possible version of your life already exists as a complete book on the shelves. The version where you're financially abundant is there. The version where you're in perfect health is there. The version where you're living your dream life is there, waiting for you to select it. You don't need to write the book from page 1. All you need to do is pick the book off the shelf, open it, and start reading, experiencing it fully, feeling it, believing it's real right now. This library contains infinite possibilities because quantum mechanics has proven that all potential outcomes exist simultaneously until observation collapses them into a single reality. Your consciousness is the observer that determines which book you pull from the shelf. Your emotional state is the library card that gives you access to specific sections. When you operate from fear, you can only access the books in the fear section. When you operate from love and abundance, you gain access to entirely different collections. This small yet vital shift in perspective is the difference between years of fruitless effort and instant energetic coherence. When you begin manifesting backward by assuming the outcome already exists, you step into a new energetic frequency. Instead of communicating "I lack," you broadcast "I have." And the quantum field, true to its nature, immediately reflects back that state of being. It's not magic. It's not wishful thinking. It's quantum physics at work. It's a scientifically validated reality. What you hold energetically, you receive experientially. Think about it this way. Manifestation isn't about convincing the universe or earning your desires through effort. It's about recognizing that reality itself is malleable, responsive, and waiting for you to choose your state consciously. The people who manifest effortlessly understand this fundamental principle. They don't chase their desires. They choose their outcomes. They embody the version of themselves that already has what they want. And by doing so, they collapse the quantum wave of possibility into a concrete, tangible reality. This is precisely why effortless manifestors always appear calm, relaxed, and confident. They don't push or force outcomes because they've internalized one simple truth. Forcing implies doubt. When you have to force something, you're essentially telling the universe that you don't believe it's already yours. You're operating from the frequency of lack, which only creates more lack. True quantum manifestation happens when you can hold the feeling of your desired outcome so completely that your nervous system believes it's already real. Your body doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. When you can embody the emotions, sensations, and certainty of having your desire fulfilled, you literally reprogram your biofield to match that reality. The quantum field then has no choice but to rearrange circumstances to match your new energetic signature. This is why visualization alone often fails. Most people visualize from a place of wanting rather than having. They see their desired future while feeling their current lack. This mixed signal confuses the quantum field and produces mixed results. Instead, quantum manifestation requires you to feel into your desire as if it's happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, in this moment, as a present reality. When you master this shift from wanting to being, from future, focused hoping to present, moment embodiment, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You're no longer trying to get something from the universe. You're simply selecting which version of yourself you want to experience. And in that selection, in that conscious choice to embody your desired outcome, everything changes. The quantum field responds instantly to your new state of being, orchestrating circumstances, people, and opportunities to match your internal reality. This is the true art of quantum manifestation. Not forcing, not struggling, not convincing. Simply being the person who already has what you desire, and watching as reality reshapes itself around your new energetic signature. The moment you wake up each morning, you stand at the crossroads of infinite possibilities. Before your feet touch the floor, before the demands of the day begin pulling at your attention, you have a sacred window of opportunity. This is when your conscious mind is still soft, when the analytical barriers haven't yet fully activated, when you can slip effortlessly into the quantum field and select your reality for the day ahead. What I'm about to share with you is the most practical daily exercise you can use immediately. Each morning becomes your launching pad into aligned manifestation. The foundation of quantum manifestation lies in a simple yet profound morning ritual that takes just 10 minutes, but can transform your entire life trajectory. Before you reach for your phone, before you start planning your day, before you even sit up in bed, you're going to practice being the version of yourself who already has everything you desire. This isn't visualization in the traditional sense. You're not imagining or pretending. You're literally embodying the energetic signature of your fulfilled self. Here's exactly how it works. The moment you become conscious that you're awake, before your logical mind can start analyzing or planning, take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself this question: and how does the version of me who already has my desired reality feel right now? Notice I said feel, not think. You're accessing the emotional and energetic state of your future self, not the mental concepts or images. Let's say you desire financial abundance. Instead of visualizing money or bank accounts, you tune into the feeling of complete financial security. The deep relaxation that comes from knowing all your needs are met. The quiet confidence that flows through someone who never worries about money. The generous spirit that emerges when scarcity is no longer a concern. You breathe into this feeling, allowing it to fill every cell of your body. You notice how your shoulders relax when you're not carrying financial stress. You feel how your breathing deepens when you're not anxious about bills. You experience the lightness that comes from knowing you're completely provided for. This is embodiment. You're not trying to convince yourself of anything or force a feeling that isn't authentic. You're simply exploring what it would feel like if your desire was already your reality. And here's the quantum secret. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a vividly experienced feeling and actual reality. When you genuinely feel financially secure, even for just a few minutes, your entire energetic signature shifts to match that of someone who is financially secure. The quantum field, which is constantly reading your energetic state, begins immediately orchestrating circumstances to match this new frequency. After your morning embodiment practice, the most crucial step is what happens next. Complete and total release. This is where most people sabotage their manifestations without even realizing it. They do their morning practice, feel wonderful for a few minutes, then spend the rest of the day checking for results, worrying about timing, and unconsciously reinforcing the very lack they're trying to transform. True quantum manifestation requires what I call sacred detachment. You align with your desired reality in the morning, then you completely let go and trust the process. You don't spend your day looking for signs or wondering when it will happen. You don't analyze whether it's working or try to figure out how it will unfold. Instead, you move through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who has already placed their order with the universe and knows it's being prepared. Think of it like planting a seed. Once you plant it, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, give it sunlight, and trust the natural process of growth. Your manifestation works the same way. Your morning practice plants the energetic seed. Your release and trust provide the optimal conditions for growth. Your consistent embodiment of the feeling state waters and nourishes what you've planted. When doubt arises during the day, and it will, you don't fight it or try to convince yourself otherwise. You simply return to the feeling state you embodied that morning. You take a breath and reconnect with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about energetic alignment. You're training your nervous system to operate from the frequency of fulfillment rather than lack. The most revolutionary aspect of quantum manifestation is understanding that effort actually creates resistance. Every time you try to make something happen, you're sending a signal to the quantum field that it's not already happening. Every time you push or force or struggle, you're energetically affirming that you don't have what you want. The quantum field, being a perfect mirror, reflects this energy back to you as continued lack. This is why so many hardworking, well-intentioned people struggle with manifestation. They're approaching it from the old paradigm of effort and action, not understanding that quantum manifestation operates on entirely different principles. In the quantum realm, alignment trumps action every single time. When you're truly aligned with your desired reality, inspired action flows naturally and effortlessly. Opportunities appear without you seeking them. People show up to help without you asking. Circumstances arrange themselves in your favor without you manipulating them. This is what I call divine orchestration, and it only happens when you're operating from coherence rather than resistance. Let me share a personal example that illustrates this perfectly. For years, I struggled to grow my business using traditional methods. I worked 18-hour days, tried every marketing strategy, pushed myself to the point of exhaustion. Despite all this effort, growth was slow and painful. Then I discovered quantum manifestation and completely reversed my approach. Instead of working harder, I began each day embodying the feeling of someone whose business was thriving effortlessly. Instead of chasing clients, I aligned with the energy of someone who attracted ideal clients naturally. Instead of forcing growth, I trusted the process and took only inspired action. Within 6 months, my business had tripled. But here's the key: I was working less, not more. I was aligned, not exhausted. I was magnetic, not pushy. The universe was working with me, not against me. This is the power of quantum reversal. When you stop trying to make things happen and start allowing them to happen, everything changes. Your manifestation practice becomes a daily alignment with your desired reality, followed by complete trust in the unfolding process. You move through your day as the person who already has what you desire, making decisions from that identity, feeling emotions from that state, and taking actions from that level of being. This isn't pretending or fake it till you make it. This is quantum identity shifting at the deepest level. You're literally becoming the version of yourself who lives in your desired reality. And when you consistently embody this version of yourself, the external world has no choice but to reshape itself around your new energetic signature. This is the true art of effortless manifestation. Not forcing, not struggling, not convincing. Simply being the person who already has what you desire and watching as reality reorganizes itself to match your internal state. Imagine walking into a room filled with static noise, reaching for an old radio dial, and slowly turning it until suddenly crystal clear music fills the space. The music was always there, broadcasting continuously through invisible waves. You didn't create the music by turning the dial. You simply aligned your receiver with the frequency that was already transmitting. This is the exact mechanism of quantum manifestation, and it represents perhaps the most profound shift in understanding how reality actually works. Traditional manifestation teaches you to broadcast your desires outward, like shouting into a void and hoping the universe hears you. Quantum manifestation reveals that every possible version of your life is already broadcasting simultaneously, like radio stations filling the airwaves. Your only job is to tune your internal frequency to match the station you want to receive. When a master manifester appears to effortlessly attract their desires, they're not performing some mystical feat. They've simply learned to maintain coherent alignment with their chosen reality frequency. They've discovered that the quantum field operates like a cosmic radio system, where every possible outcome exists as a distinct broadcast. The wealthy version of you is broadcasting on one frequency. The healthy version of you is broadcasting on another. The loved and fulfilled version of you is transmitting on yet another channel. None of these versions are more or less real than your current experience. They're all equally valid quantum possibilities, waiting for your conscious attention to collapse them into physical reality. This understanding completely revolutionizes how you approach changing your life. Instead of trying to create something new, you're simply selecting from what already exists. Instead of pushing against current circumstances, you're aligning with your preferred timeline. The effort shifts from external action to internal coherence. Quantum physics has proven through countless experiments that subatomic particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that electrons behave as waves of probability until measured, at which point they collapse into specific particles. This isn't just laboratory curiosity. This is the fundamental mechanism operating in your daily life every single moment. You are the conscious observer, and your dominant emotional state is the measuring device that collapses infinite possibilities into singular experiences. When you observe your life from a state of lack, worry, or frustration, you're literally measuring reality through the lens of absence. The quantum field responds by collapsing possibilities that confirm your observational frequency. You experience delays, obstacles, and circumstances that validate your internal state of not having. However, when you observe from fulfillment, gratitude, and certainty, you're measuring reality through the lens of completion. The field collapses possibilities that match this frequency, manifesting experiences that confirm your state of already having. This is why people who naturally manifest with ease often seem so calm and confident about their desires. They're not hoping their wishes will come true. They're operating from the quantum understanding that their desired reality already exists and is simply awaiting their consistent observational alignment. They've learned to observe their life through the eyes of their fulfilled future self rather than their current circumstances. This shift in observation point changes everything. When you observe from your desired outcome, rather than your current situation, you begin measuring reality through an entirely different quantum lens. The field responds by collapsing the possibilities that match your new observational frequency. Traditional manifestation positions you as a beggar asking the universe for favors. Quantum manifestation reveals you as a gravitational center with the power to attract entire timelines. The difference is profound and immediately practical. When you operate as a gravitational center, you're not chasing after outcomes. You're creating an energetic pull that draws your desired reality toward you with the same inevitability that objects fall toward Earth. This happens through what quantum physicists call resonance. Every frequency seeks its matching vibration. When you consistently embody the emotional and energetic signature of your desired reality, you become a resonant match for that timeline. The quantum field, operating through perfect resonance principles, begins organizing circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with your frequency. This is why forcing and struggling actually repel your desires. Desperation broadcasts a frequency of lack. Anxiety transmits a signal of not having. Effort implies that what you want doesn't already exist. The field mirrors these frequencies by maintaining distance between you and your desires. But when you anchor into the truth that your desired reality already exists and is simply awaiting your alignment, everything changes. You begin operating from completion rather than incompletion, from abundance rather than scarcity, from certainty rather than hope. This energetic shift transforms you from someone chasing outcomes to someone magnetizing timelines. The practical difference is immediately noticeable. Instead of wondering when your desires will manifest, you know they're already manifested and are simply moving through space and time to reach you. Instead of worrying about how things will work out, you trust that the quantum field is organizing all necessary elements with perfect precision. Instead of trying to control the process, you surrender to the intelligence that orchestrates entire universes. This surrender isn't passive resignation. It's active alignment with forces far more intelligent and capable than your individual effort could ever be. When you align with quantum principles rather than fighting against them, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Your desires flow toward you with the same effortless inevitability that rivers flow toward the ocean. This is the quantum frequency revolution. Not creating new realities, but selecting existing ones. Not pushing against what is, but aligning with what already exists. Not hoping for change, But knowing that change is simply a matter of tuning your internal radio to the frequency of your chosen timeline. Right now, you might be thinking, okay, this makes sense, but how do I actually do it? What does quantum manifestation look like in my everyday life? An excellent question. Let's walk through it step by step, making it so practical, so clear, and so simple that you can start seeing shifts immediately without confusion, effort, or guesswork. The quantum manifestation process can be summarized in 3 clear and powerful steps. Let's unpack each one together. Step 1. Clearly choose your desired reality, but as if it already exists. This is the vital foundation. And most people stumble here by visualizing their desires as future scenarios. Instead, begin with absolute clarity on what you desire, not as a potential event, but as something already real, already achieved. Close your eyes and clearly define your desired outcome from the perspective of having already experienced it. If your goal is financial abundance, for example, don't visualize yourself becoming wealthy someday in the future. Imagine clearly the version of you is already living in abundance right now. Picture the scenes vividly. Feel the satisfaction. Notice the confidence, the ease, the joy of living from abundance already realized. You're not manifesting from a what-if place. You're manifesting from, it's already mine. This is the first crucial shift. The quantum field doesn't recognize time the way your conscious mind does. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the field of infinite possibilities. When you approach your desired reality as something that already exists, you're not trying to create it from nothing. You're simply selecting it from the infinite library of possibilities that are always available. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. The music isn't created when you turn the dial. The music already exists, broadcasting on its frequency. Your job is simply to align your receiver to that specific frequency. When you choose your desired reality as already existing, you're setting your internal radio to the exact frequency where that reality is broadcasting. This eliminates the energetic contradiction of wanting something you believe you don't have. Instead, you're acknowledging something you recognize as yours. Here's where it gets profoundly transformative. Shift from wanting to embodying. Instead of saying, I want to be wealthy, internally affirm, I am already wealthy. Don't merely say the words. Feel them resonate deeply in your body. Notice how your posture changes, how your breathing shifts, how tension releases as you accept this reality completely. It's not about pretending or tricking yourself. It's about anchoring yourself in the emotional and energetic signature of your chosen reality. When you truly embody a state, your entire nervous system reorganizes around that identity. Your brain begins firing in patterns consistent with that reality. Your heart rhythm coherence aligns with that frequency. Your cellular structure literally begins resonating at the vibration of your embodied state. This is where the magic happens. The quantum field responds to who you're being, not what you're wanting. When you completely identify with your desired reality, you become a vibrational match for it. You stop broadcasting the frequency of lack and start broadcasting the frequency of fulfillment. Think about someone you know who seems naturally confident. They don't try to be confident. They don't work at being confident. They simply are confident. It's their natural state of being. This is exactly what you're cultivating with your desired reality. You're not working toward it. You're not trying to become it. You are it. Right now, in this moment. The wealthy version of you isn't a future possibility. It's a present reality you're choosing to embody. The healthy version of you isn't something you're becoming. It's something you are. The loved version of you isn't something you're attracting. It's something you're expressing. This identification process rewires your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual experiences. When you consistently embody your desired reality, your subconscious accepts it as fact. Once your subconscious accepts something as fact, it begins organizing your entire life around that truth. Your decisions change. Your actions align naturally. Your energy shifts. Your presence transforms. And the quantum field mirrors this transformation back to you as your external experience. This is perhaps the most challenging step for most people, because it requires complete surrender of control. After you've clearly chosen your reality and completely identified with it, you must release all attachment to how and when it manifests. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop taking inspired action. It means you stop trying to force outcomes through effort and manipulation. You trust the intelligence of the quantum field to orchestrate the perfect unfolding. Think of planting a seed in fertile soil. After you plant the seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, provide sunlight, and trust the natural process. The same principle applies to quantum manifestation. After you've aligned with your desired reality, you maintain that alignment while allowing the field to work its magic. This release phase is where most people sabotage their manifestations. They choose their reality, embody it temporarily, but then immediately return to worrying about how it will happen. They start analyzing, planning, forcing, and manipulating. This effort-based approach actually pushes their desired reality away because it signals to the quantum field that they don't truly believe they already have it. True release means maintaining your embodied state while being completely indifferent to the timing and method of manifestation. You know it's yours. You feel if it's yours. You live as if it's yours. And you trust completely that the quantum field will reflect this inner, knowing as your outer experience. This doesn't happen because you deserve it. It doesn't happen because you've worked hard enough. It happens because it's the natural law of quantum physics. The field must mirror your consistent internal state. When your internal state is aligned with your desired reality, the field has no choice but to reflect that reality back to you. This is not mystical thinking. This is quantum science. Your consciousness literally collapses infinite possibilities into singular experiences through your observation and embodiment. When you observe yourself as already having your desired reality, that's the reality that collapses into your experience. The 3 steps work together as one seamless process. Choose your reality as already existing. Completely identify with that reality. Release and allow the quantum field to respond. Simple, powerful, and absolutely transformative when applied consistently. In the next chapter, we'll explore the deeper mechanics of this process and how to maintain this quantum coherence throughout your daily life, even when circumstances seem to contradict your chosen reality. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, you have a sacred window of opportunity. In those precious moments between sleep and full waking consciousness, your brain operates in a theta state where reality is most malleable. This is when the quantum field is most responsive to your conscious direction. Your morning embodiment practice begins the moment you become aware you're awake. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or jumping into mental planning, you pause and deliberately choose your reality. This isn't visualization in the traditional sense, where you imagine future possibilities. This is embodiment, where you feel your desired reality as your current truth. Close your eyes and breathe deeply into the knowing that your ideal life is already your lived experience. Feel the relief of having what you've wanted. Notice the satisfaction of being who you've chosen to become. Allow gratitude to fill your chest as you recognize that everything has already worked out perfectly. Your nervous system begins to relax into this frequency of completion, rather than striving. The neural pathways in your brain start reorganizing around this new identity before you even get out of bed. This morning practice isn't about convincing yourself of something false. It's about aligning with a quantum truth that exists beyond linear time. In the quantum field, your desired reality already exists as a complete, fully formed experience. Your morning embodiment is simply tuning your consciousness to that frequency. After your morning embodiment, the most crucial step is complete release. This means letting go of all attachment to how, when, or through what means your reality will manifest. The quantum field operates through infinite intelligence that far exceeds human comprehension. When you try to control the process, you're essentially telling the universe that your limited perspective knows better than cosmic intelligence. Release means trusting that the field will orchestrate every detail perfectly. It means embracing uncertainty with curiosity rather than anxiety. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check its progress. You water it, ensure it has proper conditions, and trust nature's intelligence to bring it to fruition. Your quantum manifestation works exactly the same way. You plant the seed through morning embodiment, nurture it through consistent alignment, and trust the field's intelligence to handle all logistics. This trust isn't passive waiting or wishful thinking. It's active faith backed by quantum understanding. You know with certainty that your embodied reality is already unfolding, even when physical evidence hasn't yet appeared. Throughout your day, when doubt arises, you don't fight it or try to force positive feelings. You simply reconnect gently with the knowing that it's already done. This reconnection takes mere seconds and doesn't require intense emotion or lengthy visualization. Just a brief return to certainty, like remembering something you already know to be true. Quantum coherence means maintaining alignment between your inner knowing and outer expression throughout your entire day. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel positive emotions or pretending everything is perfect. It means operating from the identity of someone who already has what they desire. When you're in coherence, your decisions naturally align with your embodied reality. You make choices from abundance rather than scarcity. You respond to challenges from confidence rather than fear. You interact with others from wholeness rather than neediness. This shift happens automatically when you maintain your quantum identity consistently. People around you begin responding differently because you're broadcasting a different frequency. Opportunities appear that match your new energetic signature. Circumstances rearrange themselves to support your embodied reality. The key is remembering that you're not trying to become someone new. You're simply being who you already are in quantum reality. This version of you already exists, fully formed in the field of infinite possibilities. Your job is to embody this truth consistently until physical reality catches up. Coherence also means releasing the need to see immediate evidence of change. The quantum field often works through subtle shifts and synchronicities before creating obvious manifestations. Trust the process even when progress seems invisible to your physical senses. Remember that quantum changes occur at the level of frequency and vibration before they become visible in form. Your consistent embodiment is creating ripples through the quantum field that will eventually become waves of manifestation in your physical experience. The more you practice this daily embodiment and release cycle, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, living from your desired reality becomes your default operating system, rather than something you have to remember to do. This is when quantum manifestation becomes effortless, and your life begins reflecting your deepest intentions with remarkable consistency and speed. There comes a moment in every quantum manifestation journey when something profound shifts at the deepest level of your being. It's not just that you understand the concepts intellectually anymore. It's that your cells themselves begin to vibrate differently. Your nervous system starts operating from a completely new baseline of trust and coherence. This is the cellular revolution, the point where quantum principles become your biological reality, rather than something you practice occasionally. When you reach this integration point, manifestation stops being something you do and becomes something you are. Your body literally rewires itself to operate from abundance rather than scarcity, from trust rather than fear, from alignment rather than resistance. Scientists studying neuroplasticity have discovered that our brains physically restructure themselves based on our dominant thoughts and emotional states. When you consistently embody the frequency of your desired reality, your neural pathways literally reshape to support this new way of being. The stress pathways that once fired automatically when facing challenges begin to quiet down. New neural networks form that default to solutions rather than problems, possibilities rather than limitations. This isn't metaphysical theory. This is measurable biological transformation. Your heart rhythm patterns shift into coherence, creating a cascade of positive changes throughout your entire system. Your immune system strengthens because it's no longer depleted by chronic stress and anxiety about the future. Your digestive system improves because you're not constantly in fight or flight mode, wondering if your desires will manifest. Even your sleep becomes deeper and more restorative because your subconscious mind isn't working overtime trying to figure out how to make things happen. When quantum manifestation becomes cellular, your body starts responding to opportunities before your conscious mind even recognizes them. You'll notice yourself naturally moving toward people, places, and situations that align with your desired reality. It's as if your body has developed its own internal GPS system that guides you toward your quantum destinations. You might find yourself taking a different route to work and bumping into exactly the right person. You could feel drawn to check your email at the precise moment an important opportunity arrives. Your body begins to sense the quantum field's movements and responds accordingly, without you having to think about it consciously. This is what indigenous cultures have always understood about intuition and natural guidance systems. Your body is constantly receiving quantum information from the field around you. When you're operating from coherence rather than chaos, these subtle signals become clear and actionable. You start trusting your impulses because they consistently lead you toward your desired outcomes. This cellular transformation also changes how others respond to you. People can sense when someone is operating from a place of deep alignment and trust. There's something magnetic about a person who has integrated quantum principles at the cellular level. They don't need to convince or persuade, because their entire being radiates the frequency of their reality. Others are naturally drawn to this coherent energy field. Opportunities seem to find them effortlessly, because they've become a walking invitation for synchronicity. Once quantum manifestation becomes cellular, life takes on an entirely different quality. You stop feeling like you're swimming upstream against the current of reality. Instead, you discover that you've been swimming with a powerful river that was always carrying you toward your desires. The constant mental chatter about how things will work out begins to quiet down. Your mind stops running endless scenarios and calculations about the future. You develop what can only be described as quantum confidence, a deep knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly, even when you can't see the full picture. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop taking action. Rather, your actions become inspired rather than desperate. You move when you feel called to move and rest when rest is needed. There's a natural rhythm that emerges when you're no longer forcing outcomes. Decision-making becomes simpler because you're tuned into the frequency of your highest timeline. You can sense which choices will keep you aligned with your desired reality and which ones will create resistance. This cellular integration creates what many describe as effortless living. Not because life becomes free of challenges, but because you're no longer creating unnecessary resistance to life's natural flow. Problems still arise, but they resolve more quickly because you're not adding the extra layer of emotional drama and mental struggle. You trust that every situation contains the seeds of your desired outcome, even when it's not immediately obvious. This trust isn't blind faith, it's informed confidence based on your direct experience of how the quantum field operates. You've seen too many times how apparent obstacles transformed into perfect stepping stones to doubt the process anymore. Your entire being has been rewired to expect miracles as the natural order of things. And because you expect them, you notice them everywhere. Life becomes a continuous flow of synchronicities, opportunities, and perfectly timed events that support your highest vision. This is the cellular revolution in action, when quantum manifestation stops being something you practice and becomes the very foundation of how you exist in the world. From this integrated state, creating your desired reality becomes as natural as breathing, because every cell in your body is aligned with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all manifestation. The most successful manifestors in history share one secret technique that remains largely unknown to the general public. They don't visualize forward into their future, hoping and wishing for outcomes to materialize. Instead, they practice what quantum physicists call backcasting, a revolutionary approach that works backwards from your desired reality, as if it's already happened. This isn't positive thinking or wishful visualization. This is a legitimate timeline manipulation technique that collapses years of traditional effort into moments of quantum alignment. Traditional manifestation teaches you to project forward, imagining yourself moving toward your goals, but this approach contains a fatal flaw that keeps most people trapped in perpetual wanting. When you visualize moving towards something, you're unconsciously reinforcing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Your nervous system interprets this as evidence that you don't yet have what you desire. Backcasting operates on the opposite principle entirely. Instead of imagining yourself reaching your goal in the future, you start from the endpoint, as if it's already your present reality. You work backwards from that achieved state, allowing your consciousness to trace the path that led to this outcome. This technique leverages a fascinating aspect of quantum mechanics called retrocausality, where future events can influence past conditions. When you embody your desired outcome as already achieved, you create what scientists call a future attractor that begins organizing present circumstances to match that timeline. Your brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual memory. When you practice backcasting correctly, you're literally creating a memory of your desired future that your subconscious mind accepts as real. This shifts your entire energetic signature from seeking to having, from wanting to being. Here's how to implement this timeline hack in your daily practice. Begin by clearly identifying the specific outcome you want to manifest. But instead of seeing it as a future goal, imagine it as something that happened 6 months ago. You're not trying to make it happen, you're remembering when it happened. Close your eyes and step into this memory of your achieved desire. Feel the emotions you experienced when this outcome first manifested in your life. Remember the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of finally having what you wanted. Notice how your body felt in that moment of realization. What were you wearing when you first received the news or experienced this manifestation? Who was the first person you told about this amazing development? How did they react when you shared your excitement with them? What specific details made this moment so memorable and significant? Now, from this place of remembering your success, work backwards through the timeline. What happened the week before this manifestation occurred? What small signs and synchronicities appeared that let you know something was shifting? What actions did you take in the months leading up to this outcome? Not from desperation or need, but from inspired alignment. How did you feel during those weeks when you somehow knew everything was falling into place? What internal shifts occurred that made you magnetic to this specific result? The key is to experience this entire process as remembering, rather than imagining. You're not creating a fantasy, you're recalling how your desired reality actually unfolded. This technique is so effective because it bypasses the mind's natural resistance to change. When you imagine a future goal, your logical brain immediately starts calculating all the reasons why it might not work. But when you remember something that already happened, there's no resistance because the mind accepts it as established fact. Backcasting also eliminates the energetic frequency of lack that sabotages most manifestation attempts. Instead of broadcasting, "I don't have this yet," you're emanating, "This already occurred in my experience." The quantum field responds to this coherent signal by organizing circumstances to match your embodied reality. You become a magnet for the very timeline you're remembering. People, opportunities, and resources begin appearing that align perfectly with your backcasted outcome. This isn't coincidence. It's quantum field response to your shifted frequency. The more detailed and emotionally rich you make your backcasting sessions, the more powerful the effect becomes. Your nervous system begins operating from the assumption that this outcome is not only possible, but inevitable. This creates what neuroscientists call embodied cognition, where your entire physiology shifts to match your desired reality. Once you master basic backcasting, you can apply this technique to transform every aspect of your existence. For financial abundance, remember the moment you first realized money was flowing to you effortlessly from multiple sources. Recall the feeling of checking your bank balance and seeing numbers that made you smile with deep satisfaction. Remember how natural it felt to make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. For relationships, backcast to the memory of meeting your ideal partner or experiencing the breakthrough that transformed an existing relationship. Feel the recognition, the ease, the sense of coming home to yourself in their presence. Remember the specific conversation or moment when you knew this connection was exactly what you had been seeking. for health and vitality. Recall the day you realized your body felt completely different. Remember the energy, the strength, the joy of moving in a body that felt young and vibrant. Backcast to the moment when you looked in the mirror and barely recognized the radiant person looking back at you. The beauty of backcasting is that you can work with multiple timelines simultaneously. Your quantum field can organize several desired outcomes at once because you're operating from the frequency of someone who naturally receives what they align with. This technique transforms you from someone who chases outcomes to someone who magnetizes timelines. You stop being at the mercy of external circumstances and become the conscious creator of your reality. From this state of embodied remembering, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing because you're no longer trying to create something new. You're simply allowing what already exists in the quantum field to collapse into your physical experience. This is the timeline hack that separates consistent manifestors from those who struggle. Not more effort, but deeper alignment with the reality that's already yours.